So in this episode of Real Talk Real Estate, we're going to dive into the hardships of getting into the real estate business. You know, Darren, everybody sees the highlight reels of real estate. The closings, the awards, the fancy cars, maybe the watches, the pretty clothes. But what they don't see is the grind it takes to get there, especially your first year. I mean, let's just be honest. It's real talk. It's hard. You're building a business from scratch with literally no safety net whatsoever. It's long hours. It's rejection. It's learning to hear the word no over and over and over again before you hear the word yes. That's freaking hard. But you know what? If you stick to it, I have seen it over the years, how just incredible the real estate business can be. So what we're going to jump into today is the real cost of getting into real estate from the time you sign up for school to finding a firm, what that costs to get started. And we're going to give some recommendations on what we have seen in the past to make sure you're successful. So my name's RobinHenricks. I am the team leader CEO here at the Keller Williams Ballantyne office. And I'm here with
Darren Phillips, the assistant team leader at the Ballantyne office.
All right, so let's dive in. Real talk real estate today. So Darren, I'm a brand new agent. I want to get into real estate. I've seen all the reels. I've seen all the fancy cars. Sure. And it looks so easy.
Selling sunset, right?
Selling sunset.
Yeah.
So I want to get into real estate. Tell me what that looks like. How much am I going to need just to go through school?
I'm so glad that we start here because with new agents, that's the first thing that I see is the confusion around what is the startup cost?
Absolutely.
What should I expect coming into the industry? And with pre-licensing alone, just taking the class, Robin, you're looking at about $600 for pre-licensing. And so a lot of times they think, okay, I pay the $600 and that's it. After the class, I have my license, I can get into business, but there's so much more to it than that.
Yeah, so I paid the $600. Now I've done the class 78-ish hours, right?
Correct.
Of class time. And now I find a firm. What happens next?
Great question. So there are a few things that you need. In order to sell real estate, you have to access the multiple listing service, right? To be able to help buyers identify properties, sellers list their homes and market them appropriately. So with the MLS alone, you're looking at, the $195 quarterly here locally is what to expect. And then with that, you also have that realtor designation, which is still extremely important in the eyes of the consumers to know you're abiding by the code of ethics, fair housing. So joining the board alone is going to run you about another $675. So right there, you're looking at, probably $1,000 initially.
So I have to know that once I pass that test, I need about $1,000 to get started in business. But let's just be real. This is real talk real estate, right? What other business can you actually start that you own that business for less than $1,000?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's still a really great deal, right?
Absolutely.
However, you need that money. Okay, so now I've got the $1,000. I find the firm. What would you recommend that I have in savings? Because again, I'm going to hear a lot of no's before I hear a yes.
And that varies. That question can vary depending on the individual. I would say comfortably, you want 3 to 6 months worth of reserves in your savings account to get into production. If you're in a dual career scenario, I'd definitely recommend where you're working a full-time job, maybe somewhere else and looking to transition into the real estate industry, probably 6 months worth of reserves is going to be a better bet. It's going to take you longer to get into production, as you're splitting your time with your current job.
Okay, and that's very doable, right? I am working at another profession. I want to get into real estate. I can build a real estate business, working another job, putting money away to get to the point where I can finally say, you know what, I'm getting out of corporate America and I'm going to start my own business.
100% is doable. I have conversations with top producing agents here in our local market. They started off that way. They started off dual career, working a job somewhere else, transitioning into real estate, and they stayed consistent with their efforts. They had a business plan in place, which ultimately led them to success and being able to transition full-time into their real estate business.
Well, I appreciate you being here today because I know that you deal with a lot of our new agents coming on board. And sometimes I think that is the biggest sticker shock for them is that they go through school and nobody tells them what it's going to take to actually get into action and become a full-blown real estate agent with that $1,000 plus fees right from day one. So I appreciate you being here. Listen,
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
This is Real Talk Real Estate. Next week, or actually maybe even later on this week, we're actually going to talk about splits and the kind of the conversation around that and how important are splits to an agent and are they really focusing on the right thing. So if you want more information, please reach out to us, drop a comment below, and we're looking forward to getting to know you better.